Now, reportedly, President Trump is unhappy with his legal team.
Yeah, Wolf, it's almost predictable as you were watching Bruce Castro go forward with trying to make that argument that was meandering in the first few minutes of it. As, of course, this is a limited time defense, and he wasn't really getting to the heart of the argument. And I'm now being told by two people familiar with President Trump's reaction, former President Trump, I should say, that he was deeply unhappy with that performance. He was borderline screaming, according to these two people who are aware of how the president responded to Bruce Castro as he was going forward, making that argument. Though, Wolf, we should point out, this is a legal team that was assembled just a little over a week ago after those other attorneys who were initially supposed to be the ones on the Senate floor making this argument left the team in what was described as a mutual decision at the time. And so they've only had a little over a week to prepare for this.
Now, if the president is listening, and I know he probably is, by the way, the NBA is forcing the Dallas owner to play the national anthem before the games, after he said he's going to scrap it. So we'll see what happens. If the president's listening, Mr. President, Mr. Former President, it doesn't matter. I was not impressed with your lawyers either, and I said so yesterday. I thought they were boring. I thought I didn't see the sense of outrage, the whole thing. The whole thing is preposterous. I thought they were way too deferential to the other side. Oh, it's just, Senator, I don't mean to pick on you, Senator, because you're from my home state, but I know you and I like each other. We said hello to each other in the hallway. What is that? As I said yesterday, my presentation would have lasted 15 minutes. I would have said this thing is a farce. You've been trying to impeach him since before he ran for office. And by the way, the defense team did play a compilation of people like Maxine Waters calling for his impeachment day one. But more importantly, I would have talked about what a fraud this is. How dare you? What is the standard here? The lower chamber, you got a woman, Maxine Waters, who radio host Larry Elder has been saying, apart from threatening Donald Trump cabinet appointees, saying you form a crowd and push back on them, which sounds kind of physical to me. Aside from saying, I will take Donald Trump out, I will go out, I will take him out tonight. I don't think he was talking about pizza and a beer. That's a term that kind of means hit somebody, doesn't it? As in, kill somebody. I'm sure she did not mean it literally, but nor did Donald Trump mean fight literally, as in trash the place. I'm talking about the letter she wrote to Fidel Castro. After accusing Donald Trump of being in the pocket of Putin, she writes a letter. What was it, 1998? When Congress passed a resolution telling Castro to send back a woman who murdered a New Jersey state trooper, broke out of prison, fled to Cuba, and resides there as we speak. Maxine Waters writes him a letter, calls her a freedom fighter, says she's being persecuted for her political beliefs, and urges him to keep her there. She's still there. And one of these senators here who's going to vote to convict Donald Trump is Chuck Schumer, who has repeatedly accused Donald Trump of being a bigot, of having said racist things. This is a man who, according to a man named Jay Homnick, who was there when it happened, had a meeting with racist neighbors in a neighborhood in New York in Flatbush in 1974. And don't tell me that's too long, because you bring up how young Donald Trump, around the same time, entered into a consent decree with the FHA to discontinue practices that the FHA claimed were discriminating against would-be black and brown renters. So the statute of limitation certainly has not expired. A young Chuck Schumer agreed to propose a measure that would cause 2 buildings of blacks to move out of a neighborhood temporarily while the buildings were being refurbished. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Or is it nudge, nudge, wink, wink? We'll make them so nice, even though they'll have a right of first refusal, they won't be able to come back. Voila! Blacks will be out of there. Nobody will know. Our fingerprints will be clean. And by the way, the blacks weren't doing anything. Wasn't any problem. The young man who attended this meeting as a teenager with his racist dad said, you know, they were good people. We played basketball. We had no problem with them. It wasn't that they were disrupting anything. It was just these people wanted them out because they were black. Chuck Schumer says, here's what I'll do. You guys vote for me. I'll propose this scheme to renovate these buildings. They have to leave temporarily, obviously, while they're being renovated. And they have to have right of first refusal after they're done. But they won't be able to afford them. Unfortunately for Schumer and the racist neighbors, the blacks were able to afford to move back in. Now they were able to move back in with nicer digs than before, and they're still there. But not for want of trying. And then I would play a little montage of Maxine Waters, You Push Back, of Chuck Schumer, You Will Reap the Whirlwind, Gorsuch, You Won't Know What Hit You. I will take him out tonight. And then I'd sit down and I'd say, I rest my case. They're going to vote how they're going to vote. The team could have been a combination of Clarence Darrow, Abe Lincoln, and Perry Mason. It would not have mattered. I am Larry Elder.